Hello, first graders. It is Miss Chan here today, and today what we're going to do is we're going to read a folk tale called How Raven Became Black and Owl Got Its Spots. Remember, the folk tales are usually stories that were told a really long time ago about why things were happening in the world, and people didn't really know the answer to, so they came up with these stories. And usually these stories have a lesson, and while I'm telling you the story, what I want you to do is pay attention to what kind of lesson do you think the author is trying to teach us. So, before we start reading, why do you think ravens are black? Those are all really good thoughts. I think ravens are black because maybe they will camouflage more with trees. That's my thought. I'm not too sure. We'll find out what these Native Americans thought the ravens were black, and we'll find out why these Native Americans thought owls got its spots. So, at one time, Raven and Owl were both white as snow. Raven and Owl were friends, but sometimes they did not get along. I'm the strongest bird, Raven said one day. Raven made fun of Owl. Owl got mad. Owl jumped on Raven and they both rolled on the ground. Owl rolled Raven into a puddle of black mud. The mud made Raven as black as the night sky. So looking at this page right here, do we hear a key detail as to why these Native Americans thought the ravens became black? Because remember, they started as what color? They started as white. That is true. And what happened to the raven that made the raven black? Good. Some people said, oh, I remember that in the story here, it says Owl rolled Raven into a puddle of black mud, and the mud made Raven black as the night sky. And that is a key detail because it tells me what happened to Raven and why Raven's black. All right, let's turn the page. Raven tried to get up, but he could not. Owl, he said, please help me. No, said Owl, I will not help you. This is just a trick. You do not need help. Please, said Raven, if you help me, I will give you some of my things. This is not a trick. Owl helped Raven. Now give me some of your things, said Owl. So pausing here for a second. What kind of people or character traits can we describe these two characters? What is the character trait for Raven? What is the character trait for Owl? Are these nice birds, unkind birds, mean birds, and why? I'm thinking Owl is probably not a kind bird because Owl pushed Raven into the mud. I'm also thinking that Owl is not a kind bird because he said, oh, I will only help you if you give me some of your things. And I don't think that's a very kind thing. So a character trait for Owl could be he or she is really unkind or mean, or maybe even a bully. What about Raven? What are some character traits you can think about Raven? Raven is black. Remember how Raven kind of made fun of Owl too? So maybe also not kind? That is true. Okay, let's turn our page. Ha, said Raven. I did trick you. I won't give you some of my things. Then Raven shook. The black mud went everywhere. Some black mud went out on Owl's white feathers. So, here, looking at this page, what is a key detail about this page? Did the author tell you how Owl got his spots? Did it tell you what happened to Owl when Raven came out of the mud? Mm-hmm. So some people said, oh, Raven shook the mud onto Al, and then Al probably got some spots on him. And we also learned that Raven is also not very kind because Raven just splashed Al with all the mud. So we could say Raven's unkind. We could say Raven's mean. Okay. Let's look at our last page. And it says, and that's how Raven became black and Al got the spots. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at this page. And I started some for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this story or this video to help you with answering these questions. And it says, what was the story about? It was mostly about it was mostly about Raven and Al and how it got its spots and why Raven was black. When did the story happen? Did it happen a long time ago? Did it happen today? Did it happen in the future? Who was in a story? So who are the characters? Where did the story happen? So where the setting was. So the setting was in a forest. And then what was the problem in the story? Okay. So that is today's reading lesson. And I will see you after spring break. And we'll continue reading and learning together. Be safe, be great, and I will talk to you soon.